master life strategist, well-being specialist, best-selling author, and keynote speaker, Shannah Kennedy has achieved all this in addition to her prized role as wife and mother of two. Shannah lives and dances with chronic fatigue syndrome and depression, but has turned these challenges into opportunities to not only rebuild herself, but to help others to do the same. To this end, she's released 6 book titles and produced her top-selling product, the Vision Board Kit. These workbooks were perfected by Shannah, who has used them for the past 20 years to assist her to build her best life. She's now sharing this simple yet effective tool through educational publisher Hinkler. With 2 decades as a business and life strategist under her belt, her proven expertise enables clients to gain control of their lives and to achieve their visions and goals and to find happiness and fulfillment. Something we all need a little more of. Welcome to the Pure Health Hub, Shannah.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. It's one of my most favourite topics in the world.
Oh, brilliant, because we're keen to learn more about it, how it's going to help us. So, look, COVID-19 has been a once-in-a-generation life flipper. There's no doubt about that. We've had to adapt, change, reinvent. And I think for the most part, we've achieved a great deal, though it's safe to say it hasn't been easy for most of us. What I want to share today is why we deal with change the way we do, how can we do it better, and what are some of the tips that you can share that help us become a little more resilient. So you're a best-selling author of 6 titles, but the one I want to focus on today as it relates to the cluster that's been the pandemic is Plan B, a guide to navigating and embracing change. So, even without COVID, change in life is inevitable and can be frequent. It's also one of the great stress inducers for us. Why is this? Why do we struggle so much with it?
Because it's out of our safety zone, isn't it? You know, when we're in cruise control, everything's easy. We know what to expect. The day turns out how we think it might be. And then when we get a curveball, whether it be a health diagnosis, you know, a relationship breakdown, it could be a job promotion. That's change as well. It's not necessarily always going down. Sometimes it's going up, which changes our responsibilities, changes the pressure that we put on ourselves. So whenever we experience change, it's uncomfortable. And it's that degree of uncomfortableness is, you know, how we're going to react. If it's a little bit or a lot, or it's a full curveball that just hits you. You know, it will depend how you react.
Yeah, it's interesting. You make a very good point about it can also be a positive thing. And then sometimes we go into a spin about that. So the pandemic has been a wrecking ball in millions of lives globally. The immediate impact, of course, is at least 3 years, but the long-term effects remain unknown. Do you think we were possibly ever prepared for such a curveball?
Absolutely not. You know, I mean, it's like you think you might be prepared to have a baby and you've gone to all the classes, but nothing prepares you. You might have, you know, a beautiful, gorgeous, dying parent that you've been nursing for a long time, and still nothing prepares you for that minute when they leave us. So I don't think as humans we can be that prepared for this kind of change. You know, I think we just have to take a breath and deal with it as we go and put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. And I think, you know, you talk a lot about being prepared and, you know, having a plan B, but how could we have been more prepared for this? Not just for this pandemic, but also, as we were just saying, you know, the life changes like a loss of job or, you know, a promotion or the loss of a loved one or poor health. How can we be more prepared?
I think we need to, number one, have our own life plan to start with, which a lot of people don't, which is where do I want to go and how do I want to get there? Hence why I wrote the life plan to get everyone started 10 years ago. So we need a life plan, which is, you know, how do you want to feel in 10 years' time? Where do you want to be? The brain needs a map. It must have a map or it feels like it's going around the roundabout. And that's why a lot of people have that stuck energy. Everything's Groundhog Day. It all feels the same. You know, for those of us that really love life, we know where we're going. We put some markers on the map. Then you get the curveball and it's like, oh gosh, you know, there's roadworks. You know, that's when you pick up plan B and say, how do I navigate change? Because we are never taught at school how to navigate change, unfortunately, or the stages of grief that you may experience in change. And even if it's a positive change, sometimes we grieve that, oh, we used to have a lot less responsibility, and life certainly just changed and became harder, better, but harder, if that makes sense. So Plan B was all about how to navigate this detour in life that we're given. And maybe Plan B could be better than Plan A. We need to be open to changing and evolving. But it's really a guidebook for, what are the stages as human beings we experience whenever we've felt or dealt with change that we're not taught at school. So let's have a little map, everybody, and make life a lot much simpler.
Well, it's part of that. I mean, if you've got a business, you've got a business plan. If obviously if you work in the corporate world, there's often, you often have a strategy. Well, you usually always do have a strategy for how you're going to grow and all of those sorts of things. So it makes sense. So just coming back a little bit to the COVID though, and what you've seen in your business, do you have any shining examples of how people or someone who has done this well, in your view?
Yeah, a lot of people have, actually. So for a lot of people, it's been the reset they've always wanted. Yeah. It's given them time to take a breath and say, actually, what do I want in life? I've been on this treadmill of life and been in the passenger seat, and now it's time. Actually, I think I want two hands on the steering wheel. So what do I want? So I think with the lockdowns, a lot of people that I've worked with personally that have just picked up the phone and said, help me create a plan. I can't do it on my own. So my business has quadrupled. It's been out of control, but it's been so good because so many people have said, I've now got the opportunity. Yeah. What am I going to do with it? Do I want to change career? Do I want to start studying? Am I going to declutter my life? Am I just going to simplify everything for myself and create a nice fresh plan moving forward? And a lot of people have, and it's been absolutely incredible. A lot of people, when I've been doing my keynotes to like 600 people on a Zoom, that would never have happened without COVID. Never. So you've got 600 people listening to you, and I'm saying to them, what is the gift here? What do you want to learn? So a lot of people went and studied, or they mastered some of these self-mastery skills like breathing, like meditation, which they were too busy because they were commuting everywhere before. I think that there was a lot of opportunity for people, and for some people there just wasn't. They were in the hurt locker, depending what industry that you were in. But I also, these vision boards were born in COVID. Plan B was written in COVID because I knew on the first year, I know exactly what's going to happen to people's brains because I've been coaching change for 20 years. I think I might put it into a guidebook. And then the vision boards came because I thought, I've been doing vision boards since I was 15. And I was like, nobody knows how to do them. They're overwhelmed by them, but we all need freshness on the wall. We need fresh quotes. We need fresh words. We need fresh images. We need a fresh new map. And so I thought that the vision board kits would be a great way to do that. So those products were COVID related.
Right. So they were born out of this, and I totally agree with you. I think it has been a positive in many, many ways. And I think it's been a positive for the planet as well as it can be for us. But again, I think it does come down to the people who are struggling. Yes, the industry, I came from the tourism industry as well. And of course, that's been hit terribly hard. But a lot of people have used that as an opportunity. But I think you're right. There's no, we don't often have a map for a plan A, let alone plan B. But just coming back a little bit to, I was reading about the fact that you had to, you took a year off and you went and worked on your inner self. You had, and it was it's kind of a little bit like reading my own story as well in some ways. You get to a point and something comes crashing down. So, but not a lot of us have the opportunity to take a year off, COVID or no COVID, and sort of work on our inner self, the study, the introspection, the analysis. What could we be doing? And perhaps this comes back to the vision boards. What could we be doing that is not such an investment in time, that's going to help us work a little more on our inner self?
Well, let me tell you that the sabbatical that I took did not come to the front door. I created that for myself and saved for it and took the gamble of closing my business for a year. And I think everybody every 10 years should take at least 3 to 4 months off and take a breath. But if we can't do that, or you've got a reason that you can't, which I truly think there aren't many reasons why you can't, it just takes a bit of courage. But in the meantime, how do you want to feel is the most important question we can ask ourselves. How do you want to feel now? How do you want to feel in 10 years' time and 20 years' time? So I think of my 70-year-old self in 20 years' time. How does she want to feel? Does she want to feel strong? Does she want to feel flexible? Does she want to feel light? Does she want to feel warmth? What do we want to be generating? What are the skills that I need to be investing in today and learning today that are going to help me be that woman? So I think there's so much opportunity for us to be learning. The web has got everything on it for free. It's unbelievable. There's this whole world available to us. But most people think, what do I want, rather than how do I want to feel? And we need to combine the two.
Yeah, absolutely. A really good point. We are going, okay, well, we want this and we want that, we want this. But actually, I think, as I was saying to you before we went on, it's, at 50 and 60, are we really going to be planning? Well, I think that it comes down to more about how we want to feel and perhaps what are those things that we want to achieve, right? So
well, can I just interject there that we're given a map, when we're born. Go to kinder, go to school, leave school, maybe go to uni, get a job, maybe get married, maybe have kids, excuse me, and maybe build your business or whatever it might be, and then your kids leave home, and then what?
Yeah.
There actually isn't a society map past then. So at 50, it really is time to say, okay, I've ticked all of that off. Now there's no tick list. I'm lost. So a lot of people feel quite lost. And that's why I wrote the life plan is let's get back in control. Let's create a vision for your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s. We're living longer.
Yeah.
A lot longer now. So if you don't have a map, you're going to feel lost for a very long time. Yeah. I mean, Louise Hay started Hay House Publishing at 62, and she was still working there in her 90s. I mean, that's a whole
great story.
Enormous story right there. So it's never too late to start studying something you're passionate about, opening a business, collaborating with other women, making new friends, building our network. And it's often from our network that new opportunities arise. Yeah. We'll be saying, oh, let's build a little business together, or let's go and wander the world together and go on a walking holiday every year together. Mm-hmm. There's so many great ideas out there. For me personally, on my life plan moving forward, every single year there has to be a walking holiday. Yep. So I'm meeting new people and I'm walking with people, and I'm back in nature every year with new and fresh people that become your network. So it needs a strategy and a structure. Yeah. It's also about how do you want to feel? I want to feel connected.
And that's a really good example too, because I think what happens, as you say, we get through raising kids, do all of that. And some of us who have moved around or whatever, or have been too busy, haven't been able to build those networks on a sort of a personal level. So, even if you took a 3-day walking tour every year, to get out and about is a good opportunity for, for people for women of a certain age. Yeah. Okay, so let's maybe get a little bit practical. So my world has just come crashing down. Pure Health Hub was equally created during COVID after our business was placed into hibernation. And it is about reminding there isn't a roadmap beyond 50 really for our health, for mental health, for environmental health, all of these things. So it's a similar thing. But let's say my world has just come crashing down. So as I was saying before, most people don't even have a plan A, but let alone a plan B. So how do you go about starting that to develop something in a plan B?
Well, first of all, whenever we get the lemon thrown at us and the big curveball thrown, we just need to stop. We just need to take a breath. And what I found 2 years ago is everyone went into panic mode. It's like you fell off your bike and you're running around going, oh my God, I've fallen off my bike. The first thing you would say to somebody is just get your breath. Just sit still. Don't get up yet. If you fall over, just sit still, gather yourself before you get up. And then just maybe acknowledge how you're feeling. So nobody does that too. They push that under the carpet and they go out more and they drink more on whatever they do. So we're running from it instantly rather than just sitting with our crashed little bike and just gathering ourselves and deciding, what this all means. So it's a really important point that we're never taught is to stop, to take a breath, just reground yourself very quickly, and then acknowledge your feelings and the fear that you have. Just sit there in it for a minute and then embrace the grief. So nobody teaches you the grief cycle, but let's just learn the grief cycle quickly, and then let's choose our narrative. Like, what does that mean? Okay, well, maybe there's an opportunity here for me. And then we go into the healing, which is, okay, that event happened, whatever it might be, the business closed, the travel industry closed down, I lost my job. Okay, I need to heal. So before I get back on the bike, I just need to let the wound heal, put a Band-Aid on, which is self-care, which is just, let's just go into being a little bit kind and compassionate to ourselves. Let's renew, let's refuel a little bit. But then let's just tell ourselves we've got this and we can do this, and let that event go a little bit. And then we go into the reset, which is a super exciting part, is we go back to our values. What's most important to me? Let's set some really nice small goals. Let's create a vision that's exciting for me, a new map. And let's embrace the change, And then the last part is we need to rejoice that you're doing this podcast now that you might never have done before. There's all the wonderful gifts. Well, are we celebrating? We're celebrating. So we should be high-fiving ourselves. We should be saying, actually, I'm glad I fell off my bike there because, I've got this. I know so many women who have gone through relationship breakdowns, and I say, look, I'll see you in 3 years. They say, oh, it's the best thing. But at the time, you can't see it because you have to take a breath. You have to go through grief, you have to heal, and then you have to reset. And if people just knew that, they wouldn't have such high expectations of themselves on day one. Yeah. Oh, I've got to get my shit together. You don't do yet. There is a process that human beings go through, just like nature, to restore themselves after a fire. So I think it's a real shame that we don't learn it, but there is a process and there is a step-by-step guide. And then creating your vision is the most important part, because without hope of what you want to create, without hope, we feel very lost and very stuck. And the vision board is there as this nice shiny light of the direction that you want to travel. It's a visual representation of, oh, actually, I think I want to go on that walking holiday, and then all of a sudden you've got a spring in your step.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and coming to the vision boards, and I've managed to get my hands on a health and happiness, but I believe there's a number that you've got, one or two or three?
There's two. One's career and confidence, and one's health and happiness. And they were born because a lot of my clients said, I want to do a vision board, but I'm afraid it's not going to look very nice. Like, what if it looks like a dog's breakfast? And what if it's not appealing and I'm not creative? And because I'm not creative, it's not going to look good and it's not going to look like yours. And women are incredible at just putting themselves down, aren't they? So
yes. Terribly. Oh, I don't know where this, almost like it's genetic or something. I don't know.
Analysis paralysis hits you in the face and you say, I can't create my vision because I don't have the color right or something. So what I did was I went to Hinkler and I said, I'd love to create vision board kits that are visually, aesthetically gorgeous. And I've done all the work for them. They just need to choose. And they said, what the hell's a vision board? And I had to explain it to them. And now they're like, oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's, it has been used because Hinkler is an educational publisher, right? So the creative industry has been working with vision boards forever. I mean, it's how you tell the story. It's how you develop the story. Yeah. So it makes perfect sense to me. Um,
So, because, you know, we're watching the Olympics at the moment. I mean,
Yeah.
I've worked with elite athletes for 20 years,
mm,
and all athletes, they have a vision board. They've got the gold medal up there. They're doing the Roger Federer up there, like, I want to be the best, and they're visualizing their success.
yeah.
We need to do it for ourselves.
Well, we do, but we also don't have to be an elite sports person to do this, right? We can create our journey or our map in this little book, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I haven't started it yet, but I will, because I really do need to. I feel like I'm sort of just bouncing from one to the next at the moment. In a startup business, that's always the case. So tell me, and then it comes with these cards that we've got, you know, such as I am calm and at peace, which, you know, God, I'm always striving for that. So how does that, and then you've got some other cards. So there's quite a bit here
Yeah,
to help you create your board. Or is that behind you there? Is that like one of your boards?
That's the career and confidence one. So it's a really simple strategy. You know, you answer the questions in the book, because we all need a little bit of clarity.
Yes.
How I want to feel, what's important to me, what do I like, how old am I going to be in 3 years' time? I think you should do one every 3 years. Yeah. And you put your values smack in the middle. Like that's your home base. That's what's most important to you. So you just put your values in the middle. And then you answer the questions, and you get to know yourself again, because let's face it, we're all on this busy, messy life, and it brings you back to self, right? So there's the values game in there that will help you. So
we've got the top 3 values, and then, but of course you've given over on this side, you've actually given out. So you haven't got to come up with this stuff. You really just, you know what I mean? And I say that because I'll sit there and overthink it for, 2 hours, rather than go, you know what, that's totally me, and that's me, and that's definitely me out of the priority. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you just pick your top 3. It's like going to the candy shop and picking your top 3 lollies. You know, it's really that simple. So you pick the 3 words that
multiple
really
choice.
Yeah, multiple choice. I'm a very bullet point type of person. So
yeah. Well, I think it's simplifying it, because I think when we're asked to either to sit in a class or to put these things together, that we don't do it because it's all too hard.
All too hard. So I've made it easy. You pick 3 values. Then you go through and you pick what are the words, and you write your 3 goals in there too. So what are the goals for this year, for example? Just 3, no more, just 3.
Yeah.
And then you put them up on the board, and then you go through the words, and the words are either just words or they're affirmation words to train the brain. So an affirmation is an I am statement. So I am strong.
Yeah.
Or these beautiful quotes like, where my focus goes, my energy flows. I breathe deeply and fully. Remember to take a breath. I feel light and vibrant. So this is really important to me, this one card. I feel light and vibrant, because that's how I want to feel at 70. It's how I want to feel at 60. And it's the reason why I went for a walk this morning, because I'm not going to feel light and vibrant with stuck energy. So the reason that I walk for an hour every morning is for this card. So we have to get like emotionally connected. And then you choose the pictures that really resonate with you. So the girl with the balloons in the health kit, she is my hero for the year. She is front and center for me. I have this card on my computer. Right. I've done 3 keynotes today, corporate keynotes. She's right with me. She's light. She's joyful. She's treating life like a playground. And let's just jump on and off the rides, because let's face it, you are not your job.
Yeah.
It's just what you do.
And even more so as we get older, right? I mean, we definitely when we're younger, but even more so as we get older.
No, you're not your job. That's just what you do. So let's really embrace who you are.
Yeah. And
what your values are. And when you know your values, you've actually got purpose for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So if health is a value,
it's
broken into 4 components.
Yeah.
Mental health, how you train your brain. Physical health, how you eat, move, sleep, and breathe. Emotional health is how you give and receive, and your kindness and empathy towards yourself, and do you love yourself? like your best friend.
Yes.
And then there's spiritual health, which is belonging to something greater than yourself.
And all pillars of Pure Health Hub, I might add.
Yes, fantastic. Well, because they're the universal pillars.
Yeah.
So for the rest of your life till you're 90, every single day, you can be tweaking that. Oh, I could tweak the way I eat. I could tweak the way I move my body. If I just slowly improved 1% a day, and that was my focus, and that was my purpose for the rest of my life, I'm going to show up in life being the best version of myself. So you choose in the kit the photos that really inspire you to move your body or to eat better. So there's food pictures, there's movement pictures, there are emotional health pictures about being with community and giving and receiving and love and happiness and family. And then there's things like, the lady having the massage. Like for me, that's self-care plus.
Yeah.
People walking. Yes. Oh, that's my walking picture. I'm going to walk the world every year and do the Camino and then do this and find walking friends, new networks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, common interests, right? And I think, we do get to this point, and this is why I think this is really quite a fabulous tool for women in their 50 plus, because for the first time in our lives, for many of us, not for everybody, they've always had the indulgence, but for a lot of us, we've not been able, this is the self-care, I think, also, right? This is actually creating an opportunity for us to self-care by taking those walking tours and things like that, but living with our top 3 values and not compromising those.
Yeah, we're the asset, right?
Yeah.
And the sisterhood is soul nourishing. So it's really important that we, number one, love ourselves and are kind and compassionate to ourselves, and then are open to receiving from other people and connecting with other people that we will travel with, we will study with, we will go to painting class with, we'll play golf with, we'll go to cooking classes with. Women over 50 want shared experiences, I think. Yeah. We've served our kids, we've served our marriage, blah, blah, blah. It's actually time for us to have this investment into connecting with women, because we're not as busy running around after everybody over 50, and to build that depth of fulfillment in our life and stop being an achievement junkie. Yes. And actually maybe go in and feel things and let things nourish us a lot more. Yeah. And I think that's why women need a vision for their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, and how they want to feel.
Wow. And on that note, I couldn't think of a better way to end our chat. I totally agree with you. And when I first discovered you, I'm thinking, well, how is this going to work for our audience? But I think you've just, articulated it so beautifully. We are at this absolute point in our life where we should be, creating the next chapter and putting that down. So, Shannah, thank you so much for chatting to me today. And good luck with the vision board. I can't wait to get stuck into this. And let's stay in touch.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for having me.